It's a shop has grown, hasn't it? It did grow. You kind of extended the.
Well, so the children's section down there, the L.
Yes.
Of the shop, that was originally the laundrette, if you remember.
That's it. I was trying to remember when I was walking. I was thinking, what was there? Because I remember there was something else there.
There was another shop there. So when they were closing down, we bought the lease and knocked in because the children's section was our biggest.
Well, that's it. Now that was a saving kind of grace. But we'll get to that now, because what I'm going to do is jump right back to December 1991. Your mum loves books. There's Mairead. Her friends are saying to her, it's a wonderful thing, but Greystones is too small to sustain a bookshop.
Which she didn't believe, because she'd spent so many hours in all sorts of bookshops in all sorts of towns, and she just thought Greystones is a reader's haven, so everybody in Greystones reads. So she took it upon herself and opened the shop, and it's been thriving ever since, really. So yeah, it was a big step for her to take on her own, and she got a bit of help from a few of the big wholesalers at the time. Came in and helped her stock it out, but she had no experience in publishing or anything else, but just her own reading, and the customers got it off the ground.
Well, the fact that we're standing here today in the same bookshop means that she was obviously right. But like any good business, any artist, any writer will tell you, there's always a sort of teething problems and ups and downs. So there she has this incredible Christmas. She opens at Christmas time. There's a real outpouring. There you go. So it's a lovely time to open, because of course people are getting gifts, and it's a lovely kind of celebration of books are a lovely thing to get. And then
completely skewed her idea of what the business.
Well, there you go, because then the winter of discontent kicks in, and the spring of discontent kicks in, and she realises that like any business, you've got to right. And you
actually,
can't.
I found her diary very recently.
Oh wow!
Of those that first year, and obviously after the following summer she stopped writing because it got so busy. But that first spring was very quiet, and there was a lot of days, a lot of descriptions of what the weather was. That was used as an excuse for a bad day. But yeah, so Christmas had been fantastic, and she was delighted to be proving her point to everybody. But then spring kicked in, which was very quiet. But by summertime and summer reading, the business became established. People knew she was here. She kind of introduced a lot of nice stationery and nice cards, and so people came to her for that, sold the books, so it really kicked off from there.
See, I had a great pun lined up. I was going to talk about no business can really afford to stand still, so she realised stationery was the way forward. But it was that sort of recognition all the time of what people want and what people are needing. So not only does stationery make a huge impact on the day-to-day business, but then there's a realisation that children in particular are so connected to books. And then we just mentioned the extension sort of reflected that this is really, again, like one of those moments, probably slightly eureka, where this is a big part of our business.
I think as the whole book industry progressed, and we had Kindles and Amazon online, and children even spending an awful lot more time on devices, it became clearer to parents that they wanted their kids reading books, involved with anything that was not a device, basically. So children's books have obviously always been super popular and always a very, very important part of the business. But I think as technology has developed, parents have become stronger in wanting their children to develop their reading skills as early as possible and as much as possible, and away from the devices.
Well, that's the great thing about books, is that kids will know this. If you hit your sibling with a book, it doesn't break. Whereas obviously a Kindle or a little like an iPad can crack. But books have great durability, especially the hardbacks can be particularly good.
Good for
I think a good Britannica or an Atlas or whatever can put somebody out for a good few hours.
Yeah.
So that I was going to talk about that. The fact that kids have such a huge, we'll say, array of possibilities with their day, and they can obviously spend hours upon hours as they do with video games and all that. Something like the Harry Potter phenomenon just reminds us all that ultimately that forever kind of kick that comes with getting into a world that is partly the great creation of J.K. Rowling, but it's also the kids' imagination bringing all this to life in their heads and becoming convinced of its truth and its wonder and all that. It must be a lovely thing when you're in a bookshop and that sort of Beatlemania kicks in.
Well, it's not just Harry Potter. David Walliams is phenomenal. and everything he does just walks out the door, and everything about David Walliams, he just captures kids' imagination. He gets kids. You have Dogman, you have Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Then
well, people like Dahl still connect. I mean, there's certain people I love, but I don't know whether they're sort of go in and out of fashion. But Roald Dahl always struck me as
Roald Dahl
one of the best.
And Enid Blyton is
right.
another one. Not all of her titles, but some of them really have lasted through the ages. Faraway Tree. There's some really magical ones, I think, capture the children's imaginations. And to this day they still do. Beatrix Potter, obviously, the old ones that everybody adores. And then of course some of the classics, Anne of Green Gables. There's all sorts of lovely ones that I think a lot of parents like the kids to read, those sort of classics. But the Roald Dahls, the kids still adore. And the Enid Blytons, the Faraway Trees.
No, we should say quite naturally you grew up loving books too because of your mom and I'm sure the rest of the family. But when Mairead fell ill in 2001, you kind of took over, you grabbed the steering wheel for a while. What often happens, I know the Farleys up in Dalgany as well had the same experience where it was going to be just for a while until things could have ticked over. But then before you know it...
What's not to love? As I came in here, as I said, I always love books anyway. And it's just such a nice business. And you know what? It's kind of... People come in here and it's almost as if they're taking, 15 minutes out of their day.
Yeah.
They're spending a little bit of easy time. It's such an easy job.
Sure.
So it's a lovely environment. The customers are lovely for the most part. Obviously, we have our fun and games too. But so it's a lovely place to be. So what's not to love, really? So it just kind of, it was something I never wanted to give up then once I became ensconced, because I hadn't been involved in it originally at all. But once I became involved, I really just loved it too much. So here I am, all of those years later.
Well, that's the thing. And I know Mairead Garvey is no longer with us, and well, I'm guessing that she would be pretty gobsmacked, but also obviously, absolutely delighted that something she, took a gamble on really, because there was a lot of advice not to do this and it wasn't going to work and all that. But for 28 years later to be still going strong and have that sense of
and growing
a place.
All the time.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a testament to the people of Greystones who read and who are extremely loyal. I mean, that is one thing we would often find also, is that people come in and they would intentionally wait to buy books here that they could buy elsewhere.
Right, that's huge, yeah.
Yeah, no, they are. And also we would find that people in Greystones are very into their books, and that they will have read about a book somewhere, and they will give us good recommendations, the customers coming back from the customers, which we will then pass on. And we have found that quite a few books that we have found to be very popular in this shop have ended up being huge bestsellers worldwide at a later date.
Right.
So
there's a real recognition of what actually works, and I think when you've got a hunger for any art, whether it's music or books, you just get this instinctual gut instinct about certain works and certain moments, and those early kind of buzzwords about something coming through. It's just that there's nothing more exciting than the new piece of music or the new book that just takes over you.
Author.
There you go.
I mean, we are helped by quite a few of the Ryan Tuberty will mention a book, and it might be a book that has been sitting on our shelf for 3 months, and he mentions it, and suddenly not only is it gone the same day, but we can't get it for the money for the next 2 weeks.
He should email you before that, and just to sort of give you some sort of forewarning. Yeah,
exactly. But anything Ryan mentions just flies.
Right.
So there are a few like that do help us enormously. But the book clubs in Greystones also would be great.
Sure.
So they they have their recommendations, and we kind of pass that information around. So one that's been a great success with one book club, we kind of know the type of books our book clubs like,
right?
So we can recommend for those. So yeah.
And you said too that, and you kind of hit on it there, that Greystones, I guess you just, by the sheer nature of living in a certain environment with a certain kind of people around you, a certain culture, you do kind of develop your own tastes, and there is a sort of peculiar taste that might work here necessarily wouldn't work in Galway or in
the
Cork.
Publishers will come in and tell us this is going to be a huge seller.
Right.
We'll take in a few of it, but it won't necessarily be a huge seller for us. Right. Whereas there might be something else that you'll know immediately that'll go in Greystones.
Right. Isn't it funny? And because you just assume that it's like a family kind of certain foods or like certain kinds of holidays, and suddenly it's a whole town develops a taste. And
oh, definitely, that's a Greystones book, we would often say.
Is it a hard one to sort of pick? And this will just be the final question now. That such a thing as a favourite book, or does it evolve if you're surrounded by so many choices?
Well, I suppose, given the day that's in it, Margaret Atwood has just released her sequel to The Handmaid's Tale.
Right.
And that is the book that, gosh, I think it was published, it's probably more than 20 years ago, and I remember reading that as probably in my late teens and being absolutely gobsmacked by it. So I think it's probably one that has stayed with me. I actually haven't been able to watch the Netflix
the adaptation,
yeah, because it's just so different to the book. Well, I felt it was quite different to the book,
right.
But I suppose that's one that has stayed with me forever, and I've loved it. And I haven't had an opportunity now because that's literally just come in today.
Yeah.
So I'll be looking forward to seeing the next step in that book.
Bada boom, nice.